Greetings, friends! Have you ever found yourself in possession of a piece of clothing that you really love, just not enough to actually wear it? Well, that's my problem with this beautiful people tree coat. I got it from my sister who no longer wanted it, and as time went by, I found myself not wearing it a lot either. Like, never. And when I asked myself why I never wore it, I surmised the reason was that, while very elegant, the coat was just a tad too basic for little old embellishment-loving me. Clearly something had to be done, as I wasn't ready to let this coat go. I thought long, well, actually not that long, and hard about what to add to my lovely coat, and the first thing I thought of was, of course, a collar. Quick disclaimer, this is not a tutorial, this is just how I went about it. I used the neckline and shoulders of the coat as a template for my collar and drew the rest freehand. I decided on a simple Peter Pan collar. Now it might interest you to know that the Peter Pan collar was reportedly made famous by actress Maud Adams, who wore one as part of her costume when she played the title role of Peter Pan in J.M. Barrie's famous play in 1905. Adams worked with painter and costume designer John White Alexander and his wife Elizabeth to create her costume for the role. Although the French may have a thing to say about that, in France a Peter Pan collar is referred to as a col Claudine in reference to the character who popularized it. Claudine, from Claudine à l'école, who was described as wearing it. Okay, so I recently saw Bernadette Banner's video about pad stitching. I felt inspired to make an effort to use this sort of canvas-like fabric that I have lying around, and I made sure that the grain was the same for the two halves. And I did this by cutting out two pieces and then connecting them, and I did this by, I don't know if you can tell, but I stuck them together with painter's tape and then stitched through this piece of ribbon on top. Okay, I give up. I'll just do this off camera. Stitching is killing me. I got Bernadette Banner's video with Barbara Pesendorfer where she explains pad stitching, and they do very well. So any screw ups are entirely mine. Barbara says to work in diagonal rows towards the outside, which is what I was attempting, but I kept screwing it up. So I've decided I am going to cheat a little bit and add a visual guidance. Here I've added some lines. I'm going to continue to add lines and see if it helps. buttons. Now, I really wanted to add actual buttonholes to this coat so you could properly button it up, but I decided against it in the end because I was afraid that no amount of fray check, no amount of buttonhole binding was going to keep this fabric in place. As it is so loosely woven, I was sure it was going to fray. There may have been some teeth grinding whilst I was sewing them on, but don't they look cute nonetheless? So even though it took about 1,000,000 years longer than I had anticipated, I'm really liking the result. I can't wait to wear it out in public, although that might not be for a while.